This is a Bronco Sport, and this is Bronco Nation test driving the Bronco Sport, and this is by Dodd, one of the journalists that works for the Bronco Nation, and this is his experience. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I like the Bronco Sport. Bronco 2-door and the 4-door get most attention around here, and there are good reasons why. Mostly because they're awesome. Here's the thing, though. Bronco Sport is good. I'm confident that for a long time, members of the Bronco community, this little Bronco will surprise you. And in my opinion, it lives up to his name on the grill. Now, when I went out to the Moab 4x4 Expo, I got an Escape as my rental car trip. I drove it the whole week, and I was in Moab, and I drove it on a day-long trip through the national parks. It's fine enough for road tripping. I didn't have any complaints, however, when I went out to Holly Oak ORV Park the following week and spent an afternoon in the Bronco Sport. The difference between the two, even though they are on the same platform, were stark. Now, understanding driving impressions. Now, this is not a scientific venture, but it's more of a driving impression, which is subjective and not objective because it's not scientific. Now, let's go back to the recent experience. There was an experience in the Ford Escape, now, which is totally different than driving the Bronco Sport. Now, driving the Bronco Sport is more akin to driving a Ford Ranger than it is to driving a Ford Escape. Looking out over the hood, the Bronco Sport feels more truckish, and the seat position conveys that truck feeling of sitting on, as opposed to sitting in the vehicle. The first Sport was a 1.5 liter EcoBoost engine. When it hit the pavement, there's enough acceleration to bring smiles on your face. When you hit the GOAT modes, when you put the dial over to the Sport mode, the throttle will become more responsive. And there is a big difference in the way the Bronco Sport shifts gears. It isn't a sports car by any means. The unibody crossover has a bad tendency to deliver adequate power at best and to horribly underpower at worst. Bronco Sport with the 1.5 liter engine is peppy and it's great for the market segment. Now the 2.0 liter, which is just more powerful, as you can tell, is the way it drives off-road is just awesome. And we're going to get to that momentarily. But at one point in time, the author that works for Bronco Nation named Dog, we rented a GMC Terrain, and he had a horrible experience with the turning radius. Parking was difficult. U-turns became a 3-point turn, but not so in the Sport. The Bronco Sport, it turns lighter, tighter in corners. Anything that, is driven in this class, it's a handy, and it's more powerful than you might think. For on-road driving, the driver area is laid out well enough. If you're familiar with the Ford buttons and the control knob arrangements of the Ford Sync, you can understand that it's a totally different experience. Now, the only thing that's really that the Bronco Nation didn't really like about the Bronco Sport is that it didn't have wireless Apple CarPlay integration. Because sometimes it can be, burdensome when you're always plugging in, your system every time you get into the car. You're always plugging in your phone to work your Apple CarPlay. All in all, driving the Bronco Sport on the road exceeded the expectations. But driving off-road is where the little truck really comes into its own. Now, in this one, Doug for Bronco Nation lucked out and got this cyber orange Bronco Sport, which made a big difference. This is the first edition, and this is the test vehicle for off-road portion of the afternoon. To Ford credit, they took a group of four sports that included the 1.5 liter, the 2.0 liter, and all the trucks did the same on the course together. There was one rock cross section that the Badland Sport and the first edition did on their own, but all the other obstacles were, were conquerable by both engine sizes and with or without the available rear lockers. That's where things get excited. Now, Dog for Bronco Nation is the kind of guy that thinks that he'd do a little bit better with some extra time outside. Now, the Bronco Sports beg you to take it somewhere awesome. There's going to be a lot of people sitting on top of an incredible amount of adventure potential. And you can't wait to see where the Bronco Nation community takes this little truck. Now, the Bronco Sport was taken to a steep and slippery dirt hills, rock crawl, forded through water obstacles, tight turns, narrow winding trails, thick woods, and descended steep hills with loose rocks and dirt under the tires. The Sport did it all without any issues, mostly through the power included with the goat modes and the trail control. Now, that could be the Sport's biggest challenge. Getting the most of your Bronco Sport will require some study. Goat modes are easy enough to select and give great visual indicators of what each mode is for. But it could be the most people don't ever turn that dial. Even more so, using trail control will probably require those who need it to dive into the user menu to fully understand how it works. When was the last time you looked at a user menu in your vehicle? Hopefully there's some time and effort put into promoting these features so people can get out and use them. Once you try them, you'll be hooked. He was a bit nervous going down one of those inclines that was on the course, but setting the trail control allowed him to concentrate on steering while the system helped on the rest. Similarly, they tried to ascent up some simulated slick rocks in the normal mode and were not successful. However, switching to rock crawl mode made all the difference getting to the top. If you get a Sport, you owe it to yourself to dig into these features. Head out to the trail on your local off-road park and try them out. Now, up to now, the big question surrounding the Bronco Sport was whether it was a real Bronco or just some rugged escape. The incredible capabilities of the Sport Big Brother meant that the smaller sibling in the family had a lot to live up to. If you're asking Doug from Bronco Nation, he says after having driven this ambitious little truck, the question settled in his mind that the Bronco Sport is a Bronco and is given its price. It's a Bronco experience that's going to be accessible to considerably more people. And I'm excited about that. This is A Automotive Reviews, and this is the Bronco Nation test driving the Bronco Sport. And thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, and subscribe.
Hi, this is Bruce from AO Automotive Reviews, encouraging you to subscribe, to like, and to continue watching these videos. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to putting out a lot more great content. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Much love. Peace out.